Hello everyone, welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS Academy. So friends, today we are going to discuss about Multidimensional Poverty Index. Now, there is a recent survey which has been conducted by Niti Aayog, and Niti Aayog has published a report about the Multidimensional Poverty Index. And as per this Niti Aayog report, the Multidimensional Poverty Index in India, it has been reduced. And now, the present multidimensional poverty in India, it is 11.28%. As per the latest Niti Aayog data, this has been reduced to 11.28% from the earlier 29.17%. Now, Niti Aayog has concluded this, and Niti Aayog has reached at the level of 11.28% by using National Family Health Survey data. Now, Niti Aayog has used three different National Family Health Surveys data to conclude that the overall multidimensional poverty index in India, it has been reduced to 11.28%. Now, first of all, what is this multidimensional poverty? What is the meaning of multidimensional poverty, and who is going to publish or who publishes this multidimensional poverty index? Because for UPSC or for any state services, you need to be aware about that who is going to produce or who is going to calculate this multidimensional poverty index. So the global multidimensional poverty index is being calculated by UNDP, United Nations Development Program. Now this multidimensional poverty, now friends, poverty and multidimensional poverty, these are two different things. Poverty can have, we can define a person as a poor person in multiple ways. But this multidimensional poverty index, because it is an index and UNDP is going to calculate this multidimensional poverty on the basis of broader three indicators, and within these three indicators, total 10 indicators are being used by UNDP to calculate the overall multidimensional poverty index ranking of every country. Now, these broader three indicators are, first one is the health indicator, second one is the education indicator, and the third one is living standard indicator. Now, within a country, the level of your health would be measured in the terms of nutrition and child mortality, and your education would be measured in the terms of year of schooling and school attendance, the overall attendance in the school and the year of schooling. And your living standard, there are 6 dimensions to calculate the living standard of a person, which are cooking fuel, then sanitation, drinking water facilities, then electricity, housing, and the overall assets with a person. Now, in India, this global multidimensional poverty index is being calculated by UNDP, but Niti Aayog, which is calculating India's multidimensional poverty index, actually it is using 12 indicators. Instead of using these 10 indicators, this Niti Aayog is using 2 extra indicators to calculate the overall multidimensional poverty in India. And along with these 10 indicators, 2 extra indicators are maternal health. In case of health, in the global indication, there are 2 indicators, but in India, there are 3 indicators. The third one is maternal health, and the last one is standard of living. In case of standard of living, this UNDP calculates 6 indicators, but in case of India's multidimensional poverty, Niti Aayog uses this bank account as an extra indicator to calculate or to judge the standard of living of a person. So in India, the total 12 indicators are being used by Niti Aayog to calculate multidimensional poverty in India. Now, who is multidimensionally poor? As per UNDP, any person who is deprived of more than or 33% of these 10 indicators, that person would be considered as multidimensionally poor. And along with multidimensionally poor, there is another category of extremely multidimensionally poor. Anyone who is deprived of more than 50% of these 10 indicators, that person would be considered as extremely multidimensional poor as per UNDP definition. Now, the next thing is, now, because we are talking about India's multidimensionally poor, so India's definition of poverty, as I said, India uses 12 indicators to calculate the multidimensional poverty of a person. Now, as per the latest data, these red states, these are the extreme poor states, or we can say the maximum number of multidimensionally poor people are living in these states, and these states are having lesser poors. Now, how India calculates its multidimensional poverty? We use mainly two things. One thing is headcount ratio. Headcount ratio is number of people, those who are falling within the poverty line. And the second one is intensity of poverty. What is the meaning of the term intensity? Intensity of poverty is how poor are you. ठीक, एक होता है, let's suppose that okay, we consider the person who is earning 30 rupees. Let's suppose the person who is earning 30 rupees or below 30 rupees, that person is poor. Now, intensity of poverty is one person is earning 28 rupees. That person is poor. But another person is earning just 20 rupees. Both are poor, but the intensity of poverty in case of the person who is earning 20 rupees, it is more or it is higher. So, we calculate these two things, headcount ratio, the number of people, those who are poor, and how much poor you are. And by this, we calculate the multidimensional poverty value in India, which is being used by the Niti Aayog, not being used by UNDP. Now, what are the major findings of this report, which has been published by Niti Aayog? Now, absolute numbers, as per Niti Aayog, the absolute numbers of the total poors in India from 24.82 crores people escaped multidimensional poverty. Whatever numbers were there, out of those numbers, kareeb or near about 25 crore people have escaped the multidimensional poverty in India. And out of all these states, the state like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Jharkhand, the overall multidimensional poverty has reduced in these states as compared to other states. The intensity or the speed by which the multidimensional poverty has reduced in these states, it is comparatively higher as compared to other states. Now, again, this is something which we have already discussed, so I am not going to discuss this slide again. Now, next thing is headcount ratio. As we can see, the overall headcount ratio 2005 and 6 data and 22 and 23 data, the overall headcount ratio is continuously decreasing in India. That means more and more people are escaping the multidimensional poverty within India. So, it is a good sign for Indian economy as well as for Indian society. Now, the next thing is, as per this report, the standard of living dimension, if we talk about the standard of living, there was one indicator, that was cooking fuel. Due to various initiatives taken by the central government as well as the state government, the overall indicator, this cooking fuel indicator, the public, or we can say the economy or the society has performed well in case of cooking fuel. Now, majority of the people, they have access to the clean cooking fuel, and this, as per 2019 and 21 data, this has been reduced to 43.9%. Earlier, this was 74.5%. That means earlier, near about 74.5% of the population, they were not having any access to the cooking fuel. Now, this has been reduced to just 44% only. So, the overall access to the cooking fuel has increased in India. Second is sanitational facilities. Again, more and more public or more and more people nowadays, they have more access to the sanitational facilities. Earlier, it was 70.92%. These people were not having the sanitational facilities. Now, it has been reduced to just 30% or 31%. Now, the next one is bank accounts. Yes, Government of India has started various different initiatives like Jan Dhan Yojana and various other initiatives like direct benefit transfer schemes and all. So, the overall people, the overall numbers, those who are having the bank account nowadays, it is comparatively higher as compared to the earlier data. So, again, it has been reduced to just 58.11% only. Now, earlier it was 58.11% as per 2005 and 6 data, but now this number has been reduced to just 9.6%. A drastic change because of the steps taken by the government. So, due to these steps, public has started opening more bank accounts, and with opening these more bank accounts, our economy has become a cleaner economy, and direct benefit transfer schemes has been started by the government of India. Now, next, as I said, Bihar, Jharkhand and Uttar Pradesh, these states have performed well, and the number of poors in these states, multidimensional poors in these states, it has reduced as compared to earlier times. So now the next thing is, what are the remarks? Now because this is a paper and we are discussing this from a paper, this is an editorial section. So as per this Professor Chand, this Niti Aayog data might not be the correct data. Why? Or as per this Professor Chand, this data could have been better, or more and more people could have escaped multidimensional poverty if COVID would have not hit us. So due to this COVID impact, the overall number of people, those who have escaped this multidimensional poverty, it is comparatively low. It could have been higher if COVID would have not been there in the economy or in the world, we can say this. Now as per Dr. Subramaniam, that India is likely to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 1.2. Now as per this Sustainable Development Goal, the overall number of poor, it should be reduced to half. By the particular year, the overall number of poor, be it a male, female, a child, any age person, the overall poverty in India should be reduced to half. Okay? So this all, we are going to achieve all these things, but slowly and steadily government is trying to achieve all these targets. Thank you. Thanks a lot.